like say for example, is Ryan Gosling, right? So it's like Ryan Gosling used to have this TV show like Breaker High. So he mentions
Breaker
like
High.
I never watched it, but I know about it. But what if you like
Want me to sing the theme song? Okay, I won't.
that should be like the bonus at the end of this episode. It's just you singing the
Stick around to hear me sing the Breaker High theme song at the end of this episode.
All right. We ready to rock and roll?
Ready.
You got all the files open?
Everything's open.
All right, sweet. Hello, welcome to every fucking time. Hello, welcome to Blue Sky Podcast. This is episode 5, if it's actually released in order. I'm Adeel.
I'm Jono.
And we are your hosts. What do we do on this podcast, Jono?
Well, we start every episode with a random prompt from a bowl that neither of us know exactly what's in there. I know 5 suggestions. You know 5 suggestions.
Give me an example of what a prompt is.
A prompt would be, right now, something like a genre of a film. As we progress, we would like to do different ideas, maybe current events, maybe ideas for singular scenes. But right now, we're kind of running the gamut of genres. We've been flying by the seat of our pants. So what you will be privy to is us riffing on this idea. We're going to develop it into a 5 to 6 page script, and then we're going to perform it for you and tell you all the things we wish we did or didn't do.
All in the same episode. We're going to write the script. We're going to perform the script. We're going to talk about the script.
Yes, this podcast is for the nerds. You're going to hear the entire process, and it's for lovers of improv and for screenwriting.
I heard this, I think Gambino actually said it, but this like definition of what a nerd is, it's like a nerd is someone who like being a nerd of something, like a certain type of book or movies, or being a nerd for movies or whatever. It's like liking something, but liking something that takes work to like it. You know what I mean? Like you have to actually carve out time to really obsess over this thing.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, we certainly carve out the time and we certainly obsess over this. This is some hard work and nerd shit. All right, so the first official segment is the intro. You've just heard it. The next official segment.
Fucking is AI doing this podcast? What the fuck?
I'm just reading from ChatGPT script. Oh, essentially, basically, we do what ChatGPT does now. Yeah. We just do the old analog prompt and then use our
brains,
our painful thinking brains to come up with something.
Yeah. So now that we've done like the intro and explained it, we are now going to go to the section which is titled
The Prompt.
The prompt.
So I am going to reach into the forsaken bowl of ideas. I don't know what Adeel wrote. I do know what I wrote, but Adeel does not know what I wrote.
I wrote simple ones this time.
I did too.
Did you? You never write simple, man. It's gonna be some like fantasy lore genre.
It's funny because there are a couple in there. Okay. Serial killer in brackets thriller.
Oh, that's mine.
It's a little poem. Serial killer thriller.
Serial killer thriller.
Okay.
And it's all in rhyme form. This whole script's gonna be in rhyme form.
Yeah. Okay. So
serial killer thriller. That's the prompt we picked today. We should have like fireworks and like the word come up on the screen.
Boom,
serial killer thriller.
Boom. Serial killer thriller. Let's celebrate the deaths of many people. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so when I said that, I was like, it'd be kind of interesting just to kind of make it could be a first person film, a kind of over narration kind of film. But before I get too much into the style of this film, I'm thinking of films like American Psycho.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of like a little bit like Gone Girl too, tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Like there's TV shows like what's that one? The Dahmer Show. Let me see. Serial killer films.
I didn't watch the Dahmer Show.
I watched the first episode.
Due to the controversy, I felt like it's something I can just not dive into.
For me, it was like I know where this is gonna go. We're basically like you've made a documentary on this, and again, love the actor Evan Peters. I like that they put work into it and all that stuff. But it's just like you've already have a doc. You've already really squeezed this subject. Do we really need to see more about this sad time in these people's lives? You know?
Yeah, for sure. So let's keep this one light.
Let's make it our goal to make the lightest serial killer film of all time.
Have you ever seen? I'm not sure what year it came out. I'm gonna look that up right now. But Man Bites Dog.
Never heard of it.
It's like a mockumentary. It came out in 1992, a Belgian black comedy crime mockumentary film written and produced by Remy Belleville. But basically, it's this group of documentary filmmakers that are following a serial killer, and they sort of end up sort of intertwining themselves with the antics of the serial killer. Antics is a terrible word choice there, but it's kind of funny, you know. It gets really, really fucked up and goes really dark, and it is also about a serial killer, and it is.
It's in French.
It's in French. Way.
Man, you know what's annoying? That was gonna be my pitch. I was like, oh, we should do like a camera crew following a serial killer. Like I just thought that would have been very interesting because I've never seen that, but never mind. It's been done.
It's been done. It really great movie,
but not
though.
by us.
Not by us.
It has not been done by
brilliant
us.
French people. Just after you were born.
Oh shit, no way. No, what I mean is not by us. Is like, remember that thing, the David Lynch thing, where it's like all scripts have been done, but what makes them special is like how you do them. You know? Like, I'm sure there's another film that has been done, the mockumentary serial killer. There has to be one out there. Another one.
We could do Woman Licks Cat. Man Bites Dog.
Oh. I was thinking of, I don't know why, the documentary about Luca Magnotta, Don't Kill Cats. Isn't it called Don't Kill Cats?
Don't fuck with cats.
Don't fuck with cats.
Yeah, that shit is crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty fucked up. Yeah, so, and by the way, earlier I said Gone Girl. The movie I meant, not Gone Girl. It's not really about a serial killer, kind of. I was thinking of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Right.
That one's about that. And
Gone Girl's more of just like a quiet murder or something, right? Is that what?
Well, no, Gone Girl's about the woman who kind of forges her own disappearance to frame her husband.
Oh.
It's based on the book was so good, man. It's based on a book. Fincher made it with Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I saw it, but yeah, I blew that out the hatch for sure.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The movie was decent. I don't remember a lot of it, but the book was fucking great.
Okay. Should we switch into the next section now?
Yeah, because I guess now we're gonna. Yeah, what's the next section? Let's explain it in the next section. The next session is going to be
explained momentarily.
Blue sky.
Okay, great. So now is the blue sky section. And this is where we throw all kinds of ideas at the wall. Not a real wall, but at the wall of our imaginations with hopes of trying to construct something interesting for y'all.
Yeah, this is like the section where we literally, like, by the end of this section is we have a story. Like, we usually, by the end of the section, we're like, okay, this is what the scenes are, and this is what the trajectory of the script is. And we come up, with basically a very blueprint of the script.
Yeah, and in a more traditional sense, this would be where we just kind of generate ideas for the show, the film, the season, whatever, and then before we apply budgetary constraints and get all our dreams killed. So this is the funnest phase of them all.
Yeah, this is where there's no limits.
So serial killer thriller. That would have been a good musical prompt for sure. Cause
serial killer thriller. He's a serial killer thriller. Serial killer thriller.
Serial.
He's a serial killer thriller.
Yeah.
Serial killer thriller.
That's 2 songs for the record right there. The OST. We
make a soundtrack. That's like the follow-up podcast. We make soundtrack for all the films we've made.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm going to be vulnerable with you. And my fear is how to make this not funny. You know, because my inclination is always toward comedy. So I've been like kind of dreading / excited for when we come up on something that's like got to be more serious. I guess we kind of did that last week with the space kid thing.
Yeah, I think
it's a little more serious. But this is like, I feel like also the POV of this one is weird because it's about a serial killer. So like, what are we going to try and say around this? Or like, what's that sort of mark of why do we give a shit about this guy? What's compelling? What's compelling about the story? Who's the story about?
I don't think that. I personally don't ever think that first. I feel like that's discovered. You know, I think, and so far we've done a pretty decent job with the other ones too, where it's like, oh, it's a slapstick thing. Oh my God, it's about an artist who's really struggling with his typecast. Like the first one we did, like for example, right? We weren't thinking that going in. I like to stumble across or stumble upon like that stuff. So for me, it's like, let's think what's entertaining to us. I go entertainment first. And then it's like, as we're doing it, I think we have a need to have reasons, justifications for what we do. So we end up on a message, you know? And the comedy thing, I still think there's room to make it a dark comedy. I'm not saying we should do that, because I do agree we haven't done something completely dark and serious. So let's maybe dive into that.
Leave it open for that.
Yeah, but I'm open to like because there is, whenever you have a short film, like when we write a short film, because we're under the constraints of like, let's make it 6 pages or 5 pages, you kind of create this world which might need comedy to kind of help you digest the 5 pages, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I'm really eating the mic right now. Am I too loud?
No, it sounds good, and I don't
right.
see any clippy clips on the old monitor, so
All right,
you're
cool.
good. Well, that makes me think of Mr. Right, I think it's called.
Mr. Brooks?
No, it's Anna Kendrick and Sam Rockwell.
Oh, yeah. I've never seen it, but I know about it.
Right, and so like there's this trope of serial killers. Yeah, it's Mr. Right. Anna Kendrick plays this aloof sort of happy-go-lucky young woman who inadvertently falls in love with a serial killer who I believe is trying to like end his career. Like he's at the end of it and he's kind of dealing with like the back end of like you can never quit that job. That's always a big trope in serial killer things. If you're trying to humanize the main character, this guy's done with it. He's made his money. He's trying to get out, but he can't.
Mm-hmm.
And hilarity ensues when Anna Kendrick's roped into his life and they fall even deeper in love against all odds.
So and this is just, we have touched upon love in the musical, and that's it actually. We could do it in this as well. I have a blue sky pitch for you.
Okay.
What if, and then the thriller is like, we have to find a way to stay ahead of the audience, but it's basically rough pitch, really gonna set it up so you know that, hey, this might be shit.
This is rough.
This is
a first draft idea.
This is the first draft of a first draft, because I'm going to pitch this and this might become a first draft. So it's a pre-draft. Basically, it's about a serial killer and it's first person narrative, voiceover in his head kind of talking. Like, have you seen Fleabag?
Yeah.
But imagine a serial killer Fleabag.
Yeah, okay.
Talking or House of Cards, he talks to the camera. Maybe it's that too. Like he looks at the camera and says like...
We don't talk about that show here.
What about Usual Suspects? Damn, no. What about American Beauty? Fuck, again. He narrates a lot of shit. That motherfucker narrates a lot of stuff. Kevin Spacey. Okay, so it's like him narrating like his day or like his drive up to this house, and he like gets in the house and he's like walking up these stairs and it's like narrating, and maybe as he narrates it cuts back to flashbacks like, oh, this is worse than the kill I did on John Street last week. Cuts to like him killing someone and a sniper or whatever, and then cuts back to this moment. So it's like him almost retelling his last week or whatever, and he's leading up to the store, and then he's like, here's a shower on, so now he has to kind of be quiet and like wait in the darkness of the shadows, and he even sees like the woman or the man he has to kill walk in front of him, but they don't see him because he's in the shadows, and then he like follows them into the room and blah blah blah, and then finally just pop pop pop, like he's like a quiet serial killer, right? Or maybe he's not quiet, he then ties him up and then he has his fun torture or whatever, right? But my point is like it's all narrative. It's all him narrating it, and then until he finally talks to that person that he's like trapped or he kills or whatever, or right before he kills them. I just don't like. So yeah, that's my pitch. Where that's the whole short film. It's leading up to this one kill with flashbacks within it.
Love the one kill idea because it simplifies the fuck out of it. The narrating thing, open, but my first bump is like that could just get a little like it's. The city is dark.
He's not Batman.
But
I am the shadow.
I am the shadow that fucking shoots you in the face at night.
Well, no, it depends on the tone, right? Because you're right. It could be. That's why I'm saying Fleabag. That's where the dark comedy comes in. Like he talks about it like, I don't know why I put an accent there, but he talks about it very like, it's like a day-to-day mundane job. He's Barry a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Like only reason I say narrative is, or he's narrating is because I'm worried that without that, it's just a lot of description, and it's just...
No, for sure. But what if, because that sparked an idea in my brain, like, you know how a lot of people are into like self-care and meditation, and there's a lot of like sort of apps involved in that shit. And it's just like, you wake up in the morning, notice the pillow. Take a deep breath and continue to notice the pillow. When you are ready, list the 5 things you're grateful for. Like that kind of like,
yeah.
Just very holistic kind of.
We should fucking do those because your voice is perfect for it.
I should. Anyone, just email us and I'll send you
New
a recording.
podcast coming soon.
$5 a pop. But what if it's like the morning routine / going to kill, like the daily routine of this person, and it starts off with this like almost like a Patrick Bateman where you from American Psycho
starring Christian Bale,
and it was a book that I never read, and the movie is very disturbing, but very sort of iconic and heavily referenced. And we follow this guy through his routine, and it's this like app voiceover that's that's sort of playing against what we're seeing. You know, it's like, breathe in and breathe out, and he's like aiming a gun and like pulling a trigger on someone's head and then driving to the next thing. And it's sort of narrated and loosely related to what's happening, but it plays against it in an interesting way. I don't have a great example of that, but again, almost like the guided meditation of a serial killer, of someone like a serial killer. And we find like a funny way into that, or an interesting way into that.
That's very interesting. I really like that, man.
And then you just kind of follow this guy. So there's dialogue from the app or whatever. And then there could just be one line from the dude at the end before he pulls the trigger or whatever.
I mean, my job right now is to poke holes just so we can make it stronger, I guess. But it's like, my one worry is it going to be interesting enough? Like, that it's just this robotic kind of thing. That's the whole film is just robotic. But like, again, it's a short film. That's a really cool idea for a short film. And I mean, I haven't ever seen that. You know, that's really cool. And then I guess our tough work is like, how do we make that like robots lines or the AI's lines, or basically, you know what it reminds me of a bit? It's like Her, but with a serial killer. So you know how Her's and have you seen them? So the movie Her, for people who haven't seen it, is like Joaquin Phoenix, and it's like in the distant future, I guess, right?
It's a Spike Jonze movie. It's like a sort of retro futuristic world that's kind of like our own, but
yeah. And then Joaquin Phoenix's character, I think, again, I haven't seen it in a while, but everyone has this, but he has this one AI thing in his ear, like a thing that's like becomes his friend, and then he falls in love with it. And it's a story about a man falling in love with technology almost, right? And this woman that doesn't really exist. And it's like the voice of Scarlett Johansson that plays it. So how can you not fall in love? You know? But am I summarizing that right?
Yes.
So it's if we can make it like that, where do we humanize the voice a little bit? Like, my question is, do you prefer it where it's like, and now, and it's very like robotic, and it's Headspace but for serial killers, and this is how we talk, or is it like
Dead Space?
I was trying to think of a pun too. Dead Space. Or is it like this where it's like, hey Al, it's 9 a.m. Wake up now. All right, now remember you have a to-do list. You have to get milk, and he's like checking shit off, and it's like, and you have your 10 or like 4 p.m. appointment at Mr. Brooks, and then you see him go on the way, and then it's kind of like you don't know what's gonna happen, and kind of leads him to the kill.
And it's like and there's some kind of that could work.
I like both. I don't mind the humanizing way, like what I'm saying, but I also really like your thing where it's like literally like a meditation app. Yeah. And then, like you said, you're kind of doing juxtaposition, I guess. I don't know if that's the word, but it's like you said, like, I mean, the only one that comes to mind right now is like, and now we're gonna breathe in for 4 seconds, and he's like on a sniper, and you know you can't breathe on a sniper. Yeah. And it's like you have to be very steady with like when you're holding a sniper. So if you shake it, like changes it. So it's like breathe in and hold your breath. 4, 3, 2. Pull the trigger.
Cut the black. Yeah, or pull the trigger, cut the black.
Cut the black.
Yeah. You could do that. Like
as the ending. Yeah. So it leads up to, so the ending is the breathing, but then throughout it we have to really like riddle in like meditation. But like we don't have to try so hard that everything has to sound like a meditation double entendre. Yeah. But it just has to feel like she's a very calm and soothing app, and she's telling him to now go into the shadows, wait for your victim to fall asleep. Great, he's fallen asleep now. Now
pour the drugs into his mouth. Yeah. Sprinkle the ricin into his nose. Jesus.
Oh, it's like there's a dog, right? So he has to like put the dog to sleep, like not like dead, but like put sleeping whatever medicine into the dog's bowl, and the dog falls asleep. Now he's like, okay, now he can like sneak into the house or whatever. That's interesting. I do like that. Okay. So the next step is before we get into the writing phase, we have to kind of figure out which one do we want to go with. So I think we like this. We already love this idea of one kill maybe, or like following a serial killer.
It builds. I love the idea of it building up to the trigger pull, and like the trigger pull is cut to black. So it's just more about like this behavioral thing. But then what's interesting beyond that juxtaposition of a meditation app and someone prepping to kill someone? You know, what's more? Where's more like human depth we can pull from that? Yeah,
damn. Because I'll be very honest, you just saying that, I'm like, fuck, should it be him just talking? And then because the only reason I say that is because he can really fill in the story. Like him talking about like, this is what I did last week. Like I was saying earlier, like I did this last week, and you show this gunshot, and he killed someone last week. And then, because my other thing is like, what's the, not twist, but what's the payoff at the end? Like if it's just a pull the trigger, why is that special? Is it like, the person he's about to kill, like, you know how he's like narrating this whole story and he's like, I went to this place and this place last week and I killed this person last month. Like, it all kind of ties in that this person he's about to kill right now is his boss. Like, it all, you think it's just a regular kill, but it's him getting out of this life. Like, you know, the Mr. Right thing where you said where he wants to get out of this life. So you think he's narrating just a regular kill, but this is the most important kill because this is the guy who hires him to kill people. And you find that out at the very last second of the film. And you're like, oh shit, he's quitting.
Yeah, that could be cool. Kind of reminded me of Looper, which is not quite a serial killer movie. Looper is a Ryan Johnson movie starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis as each other. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt is a serial killer in present day, and people from the future are sent back. And people from the future are sent back to a fucking tarp in a fucking cornfield, and he just pulls the trigger, and that's that. Problem in the future taken care of. Just
in the past, there's like no evidence for it
strapped to the guy's belly, and there's no evidence of it. Really fucking cool movie.
Yeah.
But that moment of facing yourself amidst the circumstances that you've put yourself in is really interesting too. You know, fucking does Buddy discover, you know, he's a clone or whatever, and there's just another version of him come to kill him or something, you know? Or is it he botched a kill and now someone's after him, you know? So he's trying to outsmart someone who's ostensibly smarter than him.
You know what's also interesting? What if, because I really like what you said there, where you put yourself in a predicament and that's what you're kind of like, what if, because there's this thing of like, what's the word when you're doing a magic trick? Like, you're kind of
sleight of hand,
but like you're distracting their attention.
Yeah.
Like you're I don't know the word, but basically you're making the audience think one thing and then you kind of slip the covers under them. Still the wrong metaphor, but you get my point.
Rug pull.
There it is.
Bait and switch.
What if it's like he's going to do this kill, and we really introduce this world in the script where it's like, oh, he's gonna go do this kill, and he's this suave guy, and he's narrating, and the way he narrates is like, last week I did this, and again I keep going back to that because this time, what if it's like he narrates a story, right? He goes like, I did this and I killed this person, and then in that story there's like a kid who like saw him kill his dad, for example. Like, yeah, sometimes it's part of the job, and then he goes forward, and then finally he gets into this room to kill this guy. And he pulls the cover and no one's there. And he turns around and it's like the kid grown up or something or whatever. Yeah. Basically, like, you think he's just another kill. And the stories he's telling you in the script. So, like, while he's narrating as he's going to kill this guy, he's just narrating the story. And he's like, oh, I did this one time, this job in Washington and this job in this LA park that I killed someone, whatever. And then when you get to the end, you're thinking, like, oh, this film's just him just fucking, you know, self-indulging and talking about his life. But he's basically giving you these breadcrumbs for the ending, that the ending is this twist of like, he's not here to kill someone, he's here to get whacked because he fucked up on a job.
I like the trap idea a lot. Like, I just, as you were saying that and before you revealed it, I just kind of imagined him like, you know, turning a chair around and whipping a blanket off and it's a dummy or something, or just him realizing it's a trap. I do find the like, you killed my dad 20 years ago trope is kind of
played out.
It's played out.
Yeah.
But I mean, fuck, what hasn't been? But that one just seems like not a great twist. I like the twist of it being a trap and someone's there to kill him, but maybe.
But again, the kid, it doesn't have to be the kid. My point is, we can have the fun of figuring out who that is that kills him at the end, or who traps him. It's just, I think it makes sense if we foreshadow it in one of the stories, like he messed up a job or did something, and it's like you kind of just mention it in a story, and the audience is like, oh, that's a cool kill he did or whatever, and at the end you're like, oh, okay, like a little bit of that, you know, like that story came back, it's a callback.
Maybe, yeah, like what if there's some hybrid sort of approach of these ideas where we're following a person doing a morning meditation, and it's like this beautiful, serene kind of voiceover from an app, and either it's cross-cut with a hitman prepping, or at the end of like just this short little blurb, the guy takes a deep breath and breathe out, and then a gun like enters frame and kills this guy, and then we follow the serial killer into some other thing, maybe onto his next person. And also a serial killer, I think my brain kind of goes to Hitman. So serial killer is more like Patrick Bateman, and like Hitman is more like guns for hire. One does it for pleasure, one does it for money, right?
Yeah, you're right. I think we're kind of on the wrong page then.
We're going a little down the hit.
We're going Hitman. Yeah, we really are. Like all these ideas are very Hitman ideas.
Yeah. So maybe it's worth thinking about
The other page.
the sort of lust for death or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the reason why do you like again? Bateman was all jealousy mostly. Like that's what it felt like. And I say Bateman, Patrick Bateman, once again from American Psycho. He's like this guy who's like this rich business dude, and he's just like very easily jealous of other people and has like
material.
Yeah, very
kind of caught up in the wrong things.
Yeah. It's like Fight Club, but he's a serial killer. That's interesting. I do like that, and I do wish we kind of went down that road more because that is what the point of it was. I just got really caught up into this Hitman world. Serial killer. So. It's usually revolving again, like it could, and again, just to kind of keep it simple because we already pitched some ideas along this route. It could still be a self-narration kind of thing.
What if? What? Oh, okay. Whoa,
Oh, okay.
Okay. What if it's not necessarily about a person? It's about this object that's imbued. Like we don't have to get into this, but this object maybe it has like a negative spirit, an evil spirit kind of imbued in it or attached to it. It's a knife. So when people pick up this knife, they're compelled to kill or become a serial killer. Do you ever see that movie Fallen with Denzel Washington?
No.
It's very cool as far as I remember, maybe mid-90s. It's about this guy who's tracking this demon who transfers its consciousness into other people by touch. So there's like really cool scenes where like he's trying to escape this guy in a crowd and it's like crowded New York streets and the people are just reaching and touching the person in front of him. So like this demon is chasing him by jumping from body to body. Like so fucking cool. But if this is the narrator is the knife or the narrator is the gun or the bat or the fucking board with a nail in it, this is not a comedy. This is dead serious. It could be that, right? And we could see it change hands through a bunch of different people and just kind of witness these things. And it's just this fucking evil spirit that wants to consume negative energy. You know?
I dig it. My only thing is, and I guess, I don't know. For me, it's like, are we giving up a chance to get even darker in terms of like, I usually never think of writing about a serial killer. Like, you know, like the chance to be like, okay, this guy's kind of fucked up in the head. Why is he doing this? Or like, this is his life or whatever. So it's like, are we making it an object and kind of taking the humanity of like this person's choice? It's like no one has a choice. They just have to kill now. Where like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that thing has still got to make a choice and that could still have a justifiable choice or whatever. It might be a lot to explain in a 5-page thing, but there is something interesting about that sort of passing the baton of psychosis or you know, bloodlust. Because still, like, what would our reason be? Like, you know, what's our connection to the killer?
That's a good question though.
You know, because like if we're going to explore that, it can't just be like, you know, I had a fucked up youth, you know, because like, shit, I wanted a dog when I was 6 and my dad never gave me a dog.
Now I kill all dogs. I was going to say, no, you said something which is interesting because that's a good way to start at these. Like, you're like, why would we ever connect with this person? And it's like, when have you felt the lowest or what's like the lowest feeling? And it's, if we were to use our lives, like not even us, but someone in our industry, that's kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. Like a background actor who just kind of shows up on sets and like, because he's jealous of the main actor.
Yeah.
So he just goes around killing actors.
Yeah, that could be.
That's a little fucked up. That's a little fucked up, ain't it?
That is a little fucked up.
I've never seen that. There's this,
and it could be called, like, I like the name Background, you know.
And it's like the perfect, because and that's his whole thing is like, if he narrates, because I don't know why I'm stuck on narrating right now, but if he does, it could be the whole thing of him being like, no one even notices me. I'm like, because he's very like, no one cares about me because I'm a background actor. So he has a perfect alibi of like, no one looks into him. You know what I mean? He just goes anywhere, any set he wants. And
it'd be kind of a cool intro scene. Could be like, you open on a like half-dressed person in a bathroom stall, dead, unconscious. Implication is that they're dead. And then you cut to this other guy putting the clothes on. And, you know, it's like, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a background extra. Not that, but you know, like,
you
just
cannot help yourself from making it funny.
I know. Well, like I feel like if we're gonna talk about dark shit, I have to like
It's a good defense mechanism.
Yeah, it's more of a therapy thing than a podcast thing, but here we are. But that thing, like he to get us in there, he could have killed another extra. Like he's just slowly trying to get his way onto set. So he found an extra that looked like him, killed him in the bathroom, and now he's out on set and he's like,
well,
first stop's the craft table, fucking blah blah blah, and I do this to the thing. But like, and then is that a serial killer though? I mean, I guess maybe
that
like
is a
a serial killer like they want to get to the main actor to kill them, but by virtue of doing that, they like go through a path of people to kill them. Is that
no? I wasn't thinking that. That's cool too, but that sounds very like one big project he has. I'm just thinking like he just shows up to sets and just kills he just kills lead actors. He's not like working his way up. Like that's too much. I think build up. I think he just does it. It's just interesting, you know. Like there's this TV show that just came out. I wish I'd watched it because it would probably help with this. Have you heard of the new show Swarm? Swarm.
No.
It's like Donald Glover.
Oh, yes.
He just started a new show, and it's about obsession. This young woman's obsession with a pop star takes a dark turn, and she starts killing people, apparently.
Oh.
So I do want to watch it, but that sounds kind of like what I'm trying to pitch, where it's like this background actor who's like, I want to be the next big thing. But my only thing is, in a short film, how do you summarize that? And I find it very interesting. But what's our 5 pages? What's our world that we're creating, and what's our arc in this world?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting when I picked the serial killer thing. I didn't think it was gonna be complicated, but what makes it so complicated? Because I'm like, oh, fucking just it's a killer movie. But what makes it complicated is you have to make it justifiable enough that the audience isn't like you said, like, oh,
it's just not gratuitous.
He's just like, oh, I'm
like,
just doing this. Yeah, like, and you know, like. And if you do that, like, I'm not that this was that, but the closest movie that got away with it really well, Kevin Spacey again, Seven. Have you seen Seven?
Yep.
Like, you only see the killer at the very, very, very end. Yeah, he has this whole thing throughout the film, but you they don't try to get you into his world and figure him out. The whole film is about like the detectives.
Yeah.
So that's the other side of it. It's like someone trying to catch this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which
is another
like would fall into like, you know, detective drama or whatever.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But I think that's a great method in there, but that's like slow burning relationship building. It's not like a quick little banger, you know, script wise.
No, 100%. And I'm not. No, sorry, that wasn't my pitch for saying to do that. I'm just saying like that's the other way of doing it, where you don't humanize the serial killer in a way of like, not that they're ever justified, like, oh, I get it, but more like, at least you're like, there is something beyond the director or the writer being like, he's just a killer. That's like two-dimensional.
Yeah, or like he's a cool killer, or like he's a killer who wants to quit his job.
Yeah.
I like this extra thing. I think there's something weird in that. But I'm not gonna lie, when I pulled that out, my life flashed before my eyes. Like when I saw serial killer thriller, I'm like, fuck, how are we gonna do this? Because it is such a complicated thing, and like,
hey, guess what? It's my turn.
Here we go.
Hey, musical comedy. It's my turn.
Exactly. I deserve this. This is karma in motion.
Okay.
So I do really like this extra thing. It's just hard to find that that justifiable.
When we usually get stuck here, or when we usually get to this point, we always have a good time. Then we like this world a little bit, right? Like this extra world, background extra world serial killer thing potentially. Let's think of a cool first scene,
right?
Or a cool last scene. A cool first scene could be him auditioning for something and not getting it. A cool first scene could be him on a set watching a film go down, and he's like in the background. You kind of see him narrating like, this is my life. I sit in the background and pretend to talk to people. And like he's actually like fake talking to someone, but he's narrating like, I'm not saying any words. No one cares what I'm saying. And like you're moving past all the main actors, and then you kind of land on him, and he's like pretending to laugh and drink at a party and a background of a party in a party scene. And he's like, this is what I do, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, and then it cuts closer to his eyes, and he looks at the camera or something like that. And he goes, but wait till they get a load of me, or something like, but it'll be my time soon. And then cut to title credits.
Yeah, or like, what if he's killing background extras because he is obsessed with film? Like he's maybe got like an encyclopedic knowledge of film or something, but he's into the idea of he got into acting to become other people, but then he took the idea of becoming other people a little too far, so he starts to kill people and like take their lives. You know what I mean? So he's like, he kills this one extra to become background actor number 4, and then another movie he kills another one to become background actor number 5 or whatever. Like he's literally killing people to take over.
He
their
thinks
lives.
that's method acting. Like I'm gonna kill them and I'm gonna become them.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, in just another pitch, what if random, because it's a bit different but kind of on the same page, he serial kills to protect the actor he's in love with. Like there's an actor he's like, he always background acts on like this actor's films.
Or what if like, there's like a meteoric rise of talent, this huge actor, and it's this weird controversy, like somehow the first choice always gets killed and they're always the second choice, so they get the role. You know what I mean? It's this person who's actually responsible for this other person's career.
Exactly. And then I was gonna kind of like that, because I was gonna say, what if like then like you see in the first party scene the credits happen, and then you see the director kind of like shit on this actor, and then he kind of follows the director and kills him. And then there's a report of like, this keeps happening on this actor's set, so they're thinking it's that actor who's doing this, the famous actor, right? And it's like everyone keeps dying for his roles and blah blah. And then there's a day where like this actor like is about to get approached by a paparazzi, and our serial killer character kills the paparazzi in front of him. And then there's your finale climax of like, I'm doing this for you. I'm your biggest fan. Like he's fucked up, deranged fan.
Yeah,
that could be cool. I'm just worried now, like not worried, but what I kind of miss is I do like that opening where he's like, this is my life. I hate my life, and I'm a background actor. And then he goes like, looks at the camera and does this like dark monologue. But maybe he could still do that.
Yeah, I don't know about I think the dark monologue, like,
you don't want to be too cliche, right? You don't want it to be too on the nose.
I think there's like a more like, because that to me is more interesting, like following the lead actor and then just seeing this guy in the background. He's been a background extra in her life or his life the whole time, and absolutely instrumental in their career being built and formed.
Even when he goes home and he goes to his room, it's like just screen grabs from films where he's in the background of this actor, and he's like frames them every time. He's like, I got to be in the background of this shot, and it's like him like as a party guy, as like fucking frat guy, as like the lawyer sitting against, like not even lawyer, sorry, like the jury background, and like this lawyer film he did. So he's always the background in all his films. And it's like he has these frames up, and he's like obsessed. So it's obsession basically. It's a fanboy, and I feel like that's been done too. But it'd be interesting to try this genre.
But I think that the obsession in the context of really propelling someone's career,
yeah, that's actually true. That's
really fun and dark, and you could still like, it doesn't have to be funny. But
so the monologue you said that is a little cliche. Were you talking about the ending or the opening? Because I do think and you can say we don't have to do this obviously, I think an ending where the serial killer kills someone in front of him,
I think the paparazzi
and then says to
thing,
him like, I'm doing this for you, and then he points out like you know how this guy's, like you said, like technically if he helped him become huge, like say for example is Ryan Gosling, right? So it's like Ryan Gosling used to have this TV show like Breaker High. So he mentions like High. I never watched it, but I know about it. But what if you like
want me to sing the theme song? Okay, I won't.
That should be like the bonus at the end of this episode. It's just you singing.
Stick around to hear me sing the Breaker High theme song at the end of this episode.
He even says like something like that where it's like, I loved you since Breaker High, and he's like, what? He's like, yeah, no one thought you were good on that show. So you know what I mean? Like he mentions like, since then I've been helping you out. Yeah, from the fucking get-go. Should we actually find an actor and make it about a real actor?
Yes, 100%.
I like that. So like Ryan Gosling, Ryan Reynolds, or like, doesn't have to be a Ryan.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's really fun. And then that end scene, I love the paparazzi idea because it doesn't involve like this premeditated thing. It's just this like crime of passion in the moment because a paparazzi guy gets a little too close to the actor, and it's like a legit like,
it has to be somewhere alone though.
It's alone. It's like not. It's not good. Like paparazzi shit, I'm sure is not good in any context, but it's especially like.
Well, he's a stalker too, though.
Thing,
because it's like maybe he's like this guy actor like Gosling or whatever goes to the gym, and then he's like waiting in his car narrating to himself like, Ryan always works out chest on Tuesdays or whatever the fuck, and he's like, and his trainer's with him, and then he leaves, and the trainer says bye to him, and he's watching all this, like he's seeing this actor, like in say Ryan Gosling, come out and say bye to his trainer leaves, and now Ryan Gosling's walking to his car, and a paparazzi comes up, like another obsessed fan paparazzi, and which is more ironic too, because it's like he thinks that fan is too obsessive who's like approaching Ryan Gosling, but he's the real obsessive one. So he goes up and you just see him like basically kill him with his hands, bare hands almost.
Yeah, no, it's like super brutal.
Yeah. And then he gets up and he's like looking at him. He's like, "This is for you." The only thing is, I'm just throwing shit out, so hopefully I'm not getting too ahead of myself. But it wouldn't be bad if this happens in a more intimate place, like someone near his house or something, or in his house.
Yeah.
so that it's like closed doors, so it's even more creepy.
Yeah, like in our lead serial killer person kind of showing up amidst that, it's like less expected. If a paparazzi's giving you shit or confronting you in the street, likely someone might intervene
Exactly.
if it gets too weird. But this heightens the stakes of that. And like, it's just a matter of like succinctly getting across the point of that person being instrumental in their career, like trying to figure out a crafty way to like disseminate that information, you know?
I think it's the end monologue.
Yeah.
Because he could be like, remember
But I think
Crazy Stupid Love? Remember who else was up for that part? Huh? And then he's like, I killed him for you.
You should have photos or like some kind of evidence to kind of go through that. But like, I think at the beginning, we need to like have the tease of that. We need to witness them doing something evil for the service of this person, or
yeah. So here's the thing. I feel, and you're totally right, because you can't just like hope that the audience understands everything without showing. But I think we can show it in pieces where the first thing, I still think it's cool to see him in background action. Like you see a shot of a film set, and then you kind of end up on our character.
And he just kind of spikes the lens. Because have you ever had the thing with background actors on set, like if you even like look at them while you're talking to someone else, that might like affect what they're going to do on camera. In turn, you directed them, which upgrades them to silent on camera, not an extra. So it's a whole different pay grade.
Repeat that. I don't know what you just said.
Okay, so if I talk to an extra on set,
there's a scene going on, there's a party, there's extras in the background.
Part going on, and if I mistakenly between shots look at that extra or give
him a note,
that's me directing them. So therefore they're upgraded.
So
a lot of times like you can get like upgrades. I've had actors like or extras like turn around and look at the camera and stuff, and like I wouldn't be allowed to use those takes because it would require an upgrade.
That's so funny. And when you say upgrade, it's because they get hired at
at a background rate, so it's like X amount of dollars. Silent on camera, the director can interact with you and direct you and move you around and talk to you,
and
you get paid more.
Significantly more?
I think it's a big leap for sure.
That's fucking interesting.
So like sometimes I would just be like talking. The AD is responsible for disseminating that information and being like, okay, I say, yeah, this guy. He did this weird thing and he can't go that far thing. Then the AD would convey that message. But if I was like looking at the extra, hey buddy, or just talking to the AD and happen to glance across this guy's fucking sight line, that could be considered a certain thing. And I've gotten in trouble so many times, and it's really hard because I want everyone to like me. So, and I want to like, include people and look at them in the eyes when I'm fucking talking to them. But if I do that, I might cost someone else more money. So it's a
you're
nightmare.
Like at the ground, you're like, hey buddy, can you move? And you're like not making eye contact.
Yeah. And it, like, even if I'm making small talk, I like look down and I try and like engage, but it just don't talk about the job at all, Anyway.
I don't think I've directed jobs big enough to have that rule. Like, cause I've done that. I've talked to extras, but it's because again, non-union stuff.
Right.
So that's really makes it different. Cause I talk to the extras all the time, you know, cause I'm like, do this, but can you please move out of the shot? But that's interesting when you get to the bigger budgets.
I've gotten into a lot of trouble.
That's interesting.
And because I'm just like, we're making a movie. Everyone lay down on the ground for 4 hours. Sorry that I went on a little.
No, that was really because that topic of this film is background acting. I actually really enjoyed that tidbit. So I think it's at the time where let me try to, or do you want to? One of us has to kind of go through the script right now, like very roughly, fill in the holes.
You tell me where it's at, because I feel like this one is. This one, you're at the front of the saddle,
and you're behind
the horse
me?
that we're riding.
You have a telescope in your hand. You're like looking for like where we have to head.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll start going, and then you can be like, no, left. Oh no, right. Okay, I like that. All right.
Yeah.
That's good. This is how we write. We get on a horse. Yeah. What are we wearing? On the horse.
Oh, like medieval sort of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves kind of garb. Yeah.
I like that. Okay, that's very interesting. So this is what I'm picturing. The film starts off with like a film set, like you see like a party going on. For example, I'm using a party. We can change it up to something else if we need to. There's a party, and it's like it could even be the Dark Knight scene where the Joker comes and crashes the party. There's like so many extras in the background. Do you remember that scene where he comes and then what's her name, Maggie Gyllenhaal's character, he like takes her and he's like, let's put a smile on that face, that whole scene.
Yeah. And
then Batman comes. So imagine a big party, like a really fancy party, and then the camera's going past the actors and you hear this narration in the short film, and it's like I don't know what he says, but he talks about like his life and who he is. He's like, this is what I am. I'm the background actor. I am background actor 24 or whatever, and this is what I do for a living, and no one looks at me, no one cares about me, but I have a purpose, and that is what I know, or whatever. Very rough dialogue, you know. And then we end up on his face, right? And we end up on his face, and then we go to credits. Then we cut back, and we cut back on, you know, those the bell on a film set, like it's like the lunch break or whatever.
Yep.
And then you see like the main actor, whoever it's based on, walks over to, like, he's walking his trailer, and the director kind of berates him, for example, like rips him to shreds or whatever, or something else. Like, so basically something happens, because we have to show, like you said, I want to do it piece by piece, right? So it's like right away you're seeing that he's so protective of this guy. So this actor gets berated by like some director or whoever, or a co-star, and our guy here, the serial killer, right? We have to give him a name soon. He goes in and he basically somehow kills the director, for example, or the person who berated him. So right away, the stakes are there within a page and a half, hopefully, that we're like, or 2 pages, where like, this guy's fucked up, obsessed. Cut to, he goes to his home. He's like, and he's narrating this whole thing. And now, so this is what I was saying, instead of, so that he doesn't have this boring monologue at the end where he says everything to our actor, he's doing it through this narration and through the descriptions, where it's like, he goes into his house and he's talking about, like, I have 30 minutes to shower and change and then go, because Ryan, or whoever the actor is that he's obsessed with, is going to be at the gym for this time, or he's going to go home or go to his AA meeting or whatever. So he goes home, and he's doing this. We cut to we see the inside of his house, and we have these frames of all these pictures of different films he's been part of in the background of this actor. So you have these pictures on the walls that are like, this actor's in a scene, it's like a lawyer scene, like I said earlier, and he's our serial killer is like a background actor in that scene. So he's been a background actor in all his movies.
Yeah, and maybe even throughout that person's life too. You know what I mean? Like,
different ages and stuff.
They're like, in every scene that we see this serial killer in, they look different. They're always like just in the background of life.
Are you
too.
saying not even on the film? Because I think that kind of breaks the. Like, I like that, but then I think the idea of him being a background actor doing this.
Oh no, that too. But that, like, art imitates life, light imitates art.
No,
whatever.
but you're saying like he's at an ice cream shop with his kid and he's there.
Yeah, maybe not like delivering ice cream, but like watching.
But that's what I mean. Then he just becomes a stalker, which is cool. But then I think what's special about this is he's just in every frame of this guy's film.
Right, but then that breaks down when we go to a gym or whatever. Like, we should have a film event or like whatever.
We have to what?
We should have like an event or something, or like that they have to go to. Something film related.
I get what you're. Oh, actually, it could be because then it could be a film scene again, and then it could be in the trailer that he kills the guy.
Yeah.
In front of him. But I was gonna say, like, him stalking him outside is fine, but the evidence should never be outside the films, because why would anyone take a picture of this guy?
Oh no, but like, I mean, that's just a CSA for the script or whatever. Like, anyway, yeah, you're right. You know
what I mean? Like, the artifacts of like what he's collecting is like background actor moments of him on his set. This actor's set that he's obsessed with. And then maybe he narrates how, like, the thing is, so he narrates, like, you're seeing the obsession, you're seeing that he's been in all his films, so you're getting fed this information as an audience in the script, and then he gets ready to go to this event, maybe a film scene, or maybe the gym, or whatever. He's going to go stalk this guy or be on a set with this guy or whatever, right? That's his whole life, is background acting on this guy's set. That's how we clarify. And then on that set, something happens. I just wanted it to happen on a set again if the first thing was on a set. So I'm trying to find a way that the last murder that happened is like not set related maybe. But my whole point is, what we were talking is like, it somehow escalates that he's like following this guy, and then maybe in his trailer or in his home, some paparazzi or someone breaks in, and he's having this like argument. The guy's not even being physical, the paparazzi guy. He's just being kind of like really schmoozy or whatever, right? And then our guy here, our serial killer, just like intervenes and kills him with like violent blunt force, and just with his bare hands, or with like taking like an Oscar this guy won, and just fucking killing him, and then covered in blood, and like looking up and at the actor being like, "You're fine now." And he's like, "What the fuck? I gotta call the police." Like, no, you can't, whatever, you can't call the police or whatever. And then he kind of just pitches this thing of like, "I'm doing this for you. This is all for you." And then he maybe at that point also declares that like, "I was the reason you got this role, because I killed the fucking first choice of actor that was gonna get the role." And it's like dawning on him, and then I don't know what the ending is yet, which we never do. We usually get that in the script writing part next. But that's what the rough draft of the film is to me. Let's see what you think.
I think broad strokes for sure. But maybe like, it seems like there's a lot of shit to kind of convey it's tough because you don't want to just do an exposition dump at the end. But like, is it simpler in that, like, the opening scene, we kind of establish this thing, this weird dynamic. The director says something shitty about the actor without the actor being present, and that person's like, that guy's gotta fucking die now. Like, the background extra hears it and the actor doesn't, or something, and then the rest of it's like stalking the director or something. Or maybe like there's gonna be a firearms training session some morning at 5 a.m, and then this guy goes to the gun range and ends up like fucking sniping the director or something. You know what I mean?
Like, you're saying make the whole film about that?
Yeah, not necessarily about that, like, because we do have to kind of explain the past and stuff, but maybe the one sort of main narrative arc is like getting to kill that director or kill that person who said something shitty, or maybe the paparazzi guy posted a really unflattering
as opposed
photo.
to what? As opposed to like him killing the director in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's cool. You know why that's also cool? Because you know what it could be? No, you're right. Maybe that is, because then that's too much. And like, yeah, how do you convey that? What if it's like, so at this film scene or whatever, right? The scene happens, the title credits, all that, and then they're at the craft table, whatever, wherever, right? And he overhears the director saying he's gonna cut this actor. Like, he's gonna fire this actor, because then it also ties into like it's his career that he's helping, right?
And then we get to see what he's done by seeing the newest application of that.
Exactly. And even he talks about it. He's like, it's not the first time. Again, I think narrating, I think personally helps. It doesn't have to be, but I think it helps because then he could be like, or even more darker and serious is when he goes home. He lives with his mom still, and he tells his mom this story. And his mom is like in a chair. She can't speak. She's like ill. So he tells all his secrets to his mom. That's serial killery a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It's a little fucked up.
Gosling booked another role, mother.
Yeah. And then, but I was gonna say, yeah, it's interesting because he can then even dish that information out for the audience, being like, this is just like the last time. Remember when Thing wanted to cut him, or remember when he auditioned and they wanted to go with Chris Evans instead, and I had to kill Chris Evans? Like, he goes like kind of into the spiel.
we could also do like an alternate reality.
Where he did kill Chris Evans.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. Yeah, it's because I was like, who do we follow? But we can make a fake career for Ryan Gosling, where we have some of his films like Breaker High and other shit.
Yeah.
But then some of the shit, like he kills Chris Evans, for example, for like, do you remember Notebook, where Nick Cassavetes wanted or whoever wanted Chris Evans? Remember, and then it cut to, or like as he's saying this, you walk past and like it's like a Chris Evans like RIP page or whatever. A newspaper
like the
of
memorial,
like Chris Evans surprisingly overdoses or whatever, and it's like him who did it. You know, it's kind of dark. But the point is, so he kind of divulges this information because, like you said really well, it's this new application of the same thing he's done before.
Yeah.
And now he goes to the director's house, and now, and again, he's stalking the director. He's going to kill him. And as he shows up and he's killing him, the actor shows up to apologize.
That's it. The
actor shows up to apologize, and then this guy has to hide. And
maybe he doesn't even have to hide. Maybe they just, their eyes kind of meet, you know, and then it goes to black. You know, there's just like this
You know what's
moment.
even darker? What if, like, so basically he's about to kill him, and then and again, maybe it's too long for the script, but he hears a door open, and so he muffles this guy, and he's already kind of stabbed him once, and he's like muffling him, and this guy's like bleeding out, and somehow he escapes, and he's like crawling through the living room because he hits our serial killer in the face, and he's like, the director's like crawling, and he's like, Ryan, and he gets there, and our guy goes and stops him, and he's about to kill, and he looks at Gosling. And Ryan doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Like, Gosling's like, yeah, kill him, because he's about to fire him or whatever, right? So he's like, you know what I mean? Like, Ryan Gosling's in on it, where he's like, not in on it, but now he sees it, and he's like, okay with it.
So then Gosling should know
he's about to get fired
at the beginning. Like, there should be like just some way to plant that in there. So then there's just like, okay, do it, or not even that decision. The decision isn't made. It's, we go to black before that. But I think that's where we go. So,
well, it's somehow in the script we have to divulge that Gosling knows, which it could be that when he shows up, maybe our serial killer is like hiding right now, and he says you're fired to him, and then you know what I mean, like. Yeah,
we can figure that out as we
but
go
that's
in.
Interesting.
So we established the on-set dynamic with this extra being there. We overhear a negative.
Be a bit descriptive. Recap the whole film now.
Okay, so. We are going to make a film about a serial killer who has single-handedly propped up a certain actor, probably going to be Ryan Gosling, in an alternate reality of this one that we're all floating through right now. We see the director of that movie berate Gosling or threaten to fire Gosling, And then we see this background extra who's been in it, like we have no idea of this at the moment, but they've been stalking Ryan Gosling for their entire career, killing the first choice. So Ryan Gosling gets all these roles.
What do you mean the first choice?
The first choice being the director and the producers and the studios want Chris
I like
Evans.
the example, for The Notebook. And then this serial killer character killed Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, right before they were about to film The Notebook.
That's amazing.
Then Gosling came in and saved the day. So like this background extra who's been stalking,
and he's been the background actor for every single Ryan Gosling movie.
And we go through the IMDb list, and it's just like
he has frames, screen grabs,
Polaroids, all these things.
Crazy Stupid Love. He's one of the extras in the bar in the background.
Yeah,
like fucking
yeah. And then we learn that this director is going to fire Gosling, and this main character, the serial killer, has to intervene if his beloved Gos is going to continue.
One cool thing about what we like about the ending is that like he is about to kill this guy. Director's like bleeding out. Gosling shows up, and in a moment of, and again, this might change. So our endings do change a little bit, but Gosling sees him, that this serial killer is killing him, killing the director. Sorry, Gosling sees this, and he has a moment to like stop him. And right before he's about to do the last little stab, they both make eye contact, and Gosling doesn't say a word, and it's just enough to be like, "You have my permission."
Yeah.
And the fucking killer goes ham. He like his God just said go ahead, which is so dark.
Yeah.
And then what's crazy, what I was gonna say is the reason maybe Gosling also is okay with it, and maybe we don't do this, but when he shows up to the director's house, and he's like, "Hey, Alex," or whoever that director is, all right, he's like waiting in the foyer or whatever, and he like sees like headshots on a table for the film, like it says like casting or whatever, and he's looking, and it's like pictures of like Christian Bale, and he's like pissed Gosling, and then he sees the director crawl over into this foyer dripping in blood. So now maybe Gosling has more reason to be like,
yeah,
kill him. Again, we'll figure
out how it's revealed to them,
but it could be interesting like that.
All right.
Oh, I'm excited. Let's get to the writing part.
Let's get to the writing part. And now, I Love You, Ryan. Exterior pool party day. We see a film set and all its moving parts. The camera is focused on Ryan Gosling, 30s. A camera assistant, 50s, extends a measuring tape an inch away from Gosling's nose and makes a mark on the camera lens. A makeup girl holds a water bottle for our leading man, and he sips gingerly through a straw. We hear a voiceover narration.
That's not me. I wish it was. Just look at that beautiful bastard. More talent in his pinky than most actors have in their lifetime. If only others saw him like I do.
And action.
The crew begin to rehearse the scene, and the camera dollies through the party.
His good looks, fast metabolism, and dreamy blue eyes got him far. But let me make it clear, he didn't get there on his own.
The camera move ends with a messy frame, featuring one of the background actors. This is our narrator, Patrick, 30s.
That's me. Party guest 22 on the call sheet. The man responsible for Ryan Gosling's career.
Exterior pool party, later. We hear the lunch bell ring and the AD announces,
"That's lunch!"
Cast and crew shuffle off toward the craft table. Patrick lingers behind as he sees Damien walk toward the first AD angrily. If I have to waste one more frame of film on that talentless fuckwit, I swear to God.
But the camera loves him.
Oscars are worth more than pretty faces. He grabs the coffee the AD was holding for him. Did the studio get back yet?
Not yet.
Jesus, James Franco said he'd do it for half the cost. Patrick winces, pulls out his phone, and opens Twitter. Cut close on the screen as he tweets.
Just ran into James Franco on the street. Anyone else get creepy vibes?
Damien continues his tirade. Tell the studio I can have him on set by tomorrow, and the money we save from his rate we can use on the reshoots. Or we'll green screen all the previous scenes. I don't give a shit. I'll take Dave Franco at this point. I just want that hack Gosling off my set, and this needs to happen tonight. Interior bus later. Patrick rides the bus, and his narration continues.
Ryan won't have to worry about the Francos. He has me for that. Just like he didn't have to worry when the studio was eyeing Zac Efron for the role.
Cut to interior sauna, flashback. We see Patrick choking out Zac Efron. Interior Patrick's apartment, later. Patrick walks into his home, goes for the kitchen, opens up a can of cat food, and puts it on the floor. Lars, his cat, slowly walks over and starts eating.
Hey Lars, sorry, I just came home to shower. I have to head out right back again.
Lars ignores him.
Ryan really needs my help tonight. That little shit director Damien wants to fire him.
Patrick goes into his washroom and turns on the shower.
We just can't have that.
Cut to interior Patrick's apartment, later. Post-shower. Patrick walks briskly from the washroom, drying himself off. The camera leaves Patrick and pans over a wall of framed photos, each one showing Ryan Gosling in a different role. Patrick is a background actor in every single one of them. The camera lands once again on Patrick, who returns fully dressed in business casual. He puts a Paramount Studios lanyard around his neck and stuffs some blank paper into a manila envelope to complete the disguise. Patrick heads out the door. As he leaves,
Don't wait up, Lars. I'll see you in the morning.
cut back to Lars, who pays him no heed. Exterior, mansion, later. Patrick walks up a long driveway. He knocks on the door of the mansion and waits. Damien opens the door.
Hi, I'm from the studio. I have the papers for you to sign.
What papers?
We need you to sign off on James Franco.
A beat.
I'm so sorry. They just told me ASAP, and I got here as fast as I could. Studio's already upset at going over budget.
Annoyed, Damien snatches the envelope. Patrick looks for a pen, playing up his nervousness.
God damn it, I'm so sorry. In my rush, sorry. Any chance you have a pen?
Damien sighs, rolls his eyes. 1 sec. He turns and walks into the home. Interior kitchen, continuous. Damien opens a drawer, peers inside, and grabs a pen. A second later, Patrick slips a wire across Damien's throat and begins to choke him. Patrick tightens his grip. Blood leaves Damien's face. Damien struggles less and less. Then another sound is heard from the foyer. Hello? Ryan Gosling is in the house. Patrick loosens his grip in shock. Damien takes advantage and stabs Patrick in his thigh with a pen.
Fuck!
Damien crawls away, still struggling to catch his breath. Ryan, help! Patrick pulls the pen out of his thigh and tackles Damien to the ground, wrestling him into a chokehold. A terrified Ryan enters the scene. Jesus, what are you doing? Patrick looks up at Ryan. He has the blood-soaked pen raised, ready to stab Damien. Wait, whoa. Just calm down. Come on, buddy, you looking for money? Ryan takes off his expensive-looking watch. Here, you'll get a lot for this.
It's not about the money!
Okay, whatever you think he did or whatever he owes you, is this about a role?
Yeah, your role.
What? Patrick tightens his grip on Damien.
They're trying to fire you and hire James Franco.
What are you talking about?
This son of a bitch wants to destroy everything we've worked so hard for.
We? Listen, that's just how the industry works. I appreciate you trying, but buddy, this isn't how to handle this. Patrick looks confused.
This is exactly how we're gonna handle this. If I kill James Franco, he'll just hire another actor. I thought killing Efron would be enough to secure the role, but this fucker is relentless.
Ryan's eyes widen. You killed Zach?
Yeah, what, you think he just coincidentally died of heat exhaustion in that sauna? You think Chris Evans just happened to develop a drug problem before The Notebook? Wake the fuck up, Ryan!
Patrick looks completely deranged now.
This is our life, our career. We've risen from Breaker High to Oscar noms. We're Oscar nominated. You're not the only one killing it out there.
Ryan sinks to the floor, eye to eye with Patrick now.
Let me help you.
A beat. Ryan thinks. His eyes go from Damien to the pen to Patrick's face. Cut to black.
Na 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 hey, carry me away.
Fin! In conclusion.
All right, gents.
Okay, so there you have it. The alternate reality career of Ryan Gosling was actually instigated by a serial killer obsessive background extra. Totally believable stuff. I mean, I'm saying that half jokingly because it is a bit of a stretch, but also the world is crazy, and it's not out of the question that someone would obsessively do that to bolster the career of a heartthrob such as Ryan.
What would you do to make, if you could rewrite that or if you could add more to that right now? For the first draft's done, let me make it easier for you. What's your favorite thing and the least favorite thing about what we wrote?
Before we get into that, remind me, because I don't think I asked you that question on the last episode.
I think you did. It was very at the end, but you did.
Okay, yeah. Little late, but you still did it.
You almost forgot, but you did it.
Favorite thing, shit. I think just in general, my favorite thing about it is this alternate reality and like suggesting that Chris Evans was, OD'd before doing The Notebook and like killing Zac Efron and shit. Like I really like taking the world building of that. Yeah. And taking like this beautiful, sexy stoic man and kind of like undermining his success and doing it that way. Like I think that's just an interesting thing. Like that's kind of funny. I think we managed to stay away from it being funny, which like I really like too. Tried hard to get some like Breaker High references in there, but Adeel kept me at bay, thankfully.
We got one in there.
And the least favorite thing, I guess, is just like, yeah, I do want to make more of a meal out of some of these scenes. You know, I think my gripe's always going to be with
more
the short form that that we need to stick with. But it just felt like there could be a couple more scenes to build Patrick as a character that aren't just voiceover, but we did what we could.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think that's one thing we got to get. I think we will hopefully figure out like a little language there, because what I piling on to what you said, it's we could have found maybe a different, what's the word, device. Narrating was a great idea, but device in the sense of like just creatively showing him kill other people or stalk people or being the serial killer, where even on the bus, instead of him walking on the sitting on the bus, maybe he's walking home, and as he's walking and like we walk with him, it's like a montage of the other people he's killed in his mind as he's talking about it. You know, like we could have, like you said, made more of a meal of like, this guy's a psycho.
Like I do in my head at the beginning, I was seeing scenes of like dropping the set Polaroids of like all the different Ryan Gosling movies and really building out how his career was served, kind of like how we used last week when we were using like, okay, he's flying off the planet on a bike-like spaceship, but really like he's biked to his cousin's house and he meet all these people. The cantina is his cousin's house, or whatever. Having this very fleshed out sort of infrastructure on which this world is operating on. Like, I wish we could more explore that a bit more, because I would like to see all the people he's killed. And
but then it's a short, so it's tough. So like we have to battle. Because I was also like looking at this short as like it's a good proof for a film, a feature maybe.
It's
sizzle. A good proof.
It's
a sizzle. Yeah, it's a very sizzle. Yeah, you're right, because it's a very sizzle. That's not a sentence.
Oil on a hot pan.
Yeah, tell me more. Give me another one.
Another analogy.
Yeah.
Fresh fish.
Elaborate.
I don't know. That's.
He just said 2 words. Yeah. I felt like it was a nice little proof for like something that could be a film where you kind of really dive into this guy's life and maybe even to the birth, and the whole film's maybe 2 timelines where you see his birth of his craziness as he got into Ryan, and then the current timeline of like him doing this. Like basically, I think there's a lot of good in here. Yeah,
like maybe the first kill wasn't intentional, but it worked, and he was like, you know.
And he goes on this path of this, like he gets like this like taste of it, and he's like, oh, I can just make his career and all this. I do love like in the world building. I think we had a choice to make. We either went more serial killer. We could have gone more serial killer and done all these flashes of people dying and showing him creepy and all these things, or we could have done what we did, which was we have these pieces of dialogue and these moments of like Notebook was gonna be Chris Evans. Like we literally had 2 choices. We picked that one, especially because like maybe in a second or third draft we can have all these things. We can have like the serial killer flashes and more world building of like Jared Leto was gonna be the driver in Drive, like all these extra little pieces. But in this first draft, we had to pick, and I think we chose the right one, which is more fun for us, which was world building of like this alternate reality of what Ryan Gosling's career would have been if this character didn't intervene, if Patrick didn't intervene. Chris Evans would have won MTV Kiss of the Year with Rachel McAdams instead. So that was fun. I like that a lot, and it's also very different. I think there's a lot of fan obsession films out there. Like there's quite a few, not quite a few, sorry, but there are that exist about a fan that's obsessed with this person and then he kills or whatever. But I don't think maybe there's one that exists.
This is weirder.
This is weirder because it's such a I don't know what to call it, because it's such an alternate universe of anything. Because like the idea that one guy single-handedly kills people to make his career, I haven't seen or heard that. You know what I mean? It's very interesting.
And I still think that that end song, When We Cut to Black, needs to be like a dark version of the Breaker High theme song. Na 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 na, hey hey, carry me away.
I don't know the song.
Great fucking show. But anything like
One thing, I mean, to maybe note, just because the people weren't part of the writing process, it was the hardest part for us was coming up with the last line of the whole film. That took a while because when he's holding a knife and or the pen and he's like, "Oh, I'm doing this for you and we're nominated and blah blah blah." We were like, "What's the last line?" And we were thinking like, "I love you, Ryan." We thought of that for a bit, which was like maybe that's how the whole film ends. But then we're like, feels like it's like sexually charged. This whole thing, his whole love for Ryan is all like, "I love you," because we're like, "Yeah, I'm in love with you" and stuff. But I didn't like that, and you didn't like that either. So then we're like, what if he says something like, "You deserve the best," or "You're a golden god, Ryan," and then we're like, we can name the film Golden God. But then stumbling upon like after going through a couple options and really hammering, it was like, "Let me help you."
Yeah.
That was a solid line.
And that sets up Gosling's last look at the end of the script. So it's not like a definitive ending. We don't know how it ends, but presumably motherfucker's going to keep his lunch flowing, you know? He's going to let that kill happen.
Yeah. That's what I would take from that.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense too, but some people might be like, "No, what if Ryan would never do that."
Yeah.
Ryan would never let
Unless he was faced with the abject truth of his career.
Touche.
Then Damien Chazelle must die.
Yeah, it was based on Damien Chazelle. Yeah, any other thoughts?
Yeah, did you go through your favorite and least favorite in turn from speaking, you know, like is that
I think we both it's usually the same for us, especially for this one. Is like favorite thing we got to make up that Chris Evans was going to be in The Notebook and Zac Efron died for the sake of La La Land to be Ryan Gosling. And then the least favorite was like, oh, we could have been more world building or whatever. Like even the ending could have been darker or like, actually the ending's pretty strong. Or it's good at least overall. But maybe the beginning could have again had more like breadcrumbs in there to show how fucked up this kid is.
For sure.
Yeah. But besides that,
yeah, it was
pretty
fun.
happy with it. It was fun, man. I didn't expect us to get to a serial killer that's a background actor. When we pulled serial killer, we were like, what's it gonna be? And then you had this great notion of like, how can we relate to a serial killer? And I was like, oh, put it in something we do in, which is our industry, which is film.
It was a nice way in.
Yeah, that was a cool way in.
Well, great. Thank you all for listening. And if you are listening from the dimension that Ryan Gosling's career is based on a serial killer, and you know Zach and Chris are dead, give us a call. We'll fill in. We'll play those roles.
All right. Bye.
The Blue Sky Podcast is produced by Adeel Shamsi and Jono Hunter, edited by Justin Stevenson, and this voiceover was recorded by Kevin Brown. If you have an idea for a prompt, email us at theblueskypodcast@gmail.com or DM us at the Blue Sky Podcast on Instagram. The Blue Sky Podcast is an independent show, so please like and subscribe and tell your friends. Please.